Reason does comedy videos, and this is like a good example. Like 90% of them have all the same jokes that are in this one. So, the good news is you only have to watch one.
Oh, hello. Do you have a warrant to be here?
Maybe there's a little grass growing right along here. Some happy little things.
I love you. You love me. We all own our own bodies, so marry who you want and do whatever drugs you choose. And when it's time, you can die with dignity by determining your own end-of-life plan.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Officer Winkles.
How you doing today?
I don't have to answer that question.
That is correct.
I'm recording you.
Am I being detained?
Nope.
Which I can legally do because I'm in a public place.
Come back if you have a warrant.
Alrighty.
Know your rights.
Yay!
Okay, Gumshoes, Carmen Sandiego is in a country where socialism failed. That narrows it down to Venezuela, Cuba, the former Soviet Union, Moldova, Laos, Vietnam, Albania, Angola. So we did some digging into your past.
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
But we still haven't solved the case, Holmes. Why is marijuana a Schedule 1 drug?
Elementary, my dear Watson. Nixon and racism.
What?
You okay? I don't know. Hey, man, it's all right. It's all right. We've got qualified immunity. Qualified immunity. It's not for you, it's just for me. I shot your dog.
I shot your wife.
I get to go on with my life.
My favorite part is where the character says, I do not want green eggs and ham. And then Sam I Am says, that's fine. You don't have to eat them. That's your right. The end. It's a short book.
Here we see one of the last taxicab monopolies struggling for life. Competitors have entered their ecosystem.
Do you know what eminent domain abuse is? It's when the government decides the neighborhood of make-believe is better used by a Taiwanese LCD manufacturer.
Today we have a real senator. Hello, Senator.
How are you doing?
What is your favorite color?
I would have to say blue.
Me too. Tell me, why did you sell all your stock right before the crash?
I mean, it's literally just the tragedy of the commons, but they made it cute.
And that sound means we're in international waters. I'm going to marry a robot and sell my kidney on eBay.
My dearest Rowena, today the district attorney filed criminal charges against a two-door sedan.
Carmen Sandiego is hiding in a country that contains an American military base. Is she in? Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Brazil, Bulgaria, British Indian Ocean Territory, Cuba, Germany, Djibouti.
Menace.
Circle, square, rectangle, war factory.
It's actually much worse than I thought it would be.
All right, Jack, where is your gay wedding cake?
I refuse to bake a gay wedding cake, and you can't force me to. It's my right.
That is your right, but it is
I
my
watched
right
like
to
7
take you
of
off of
these.
this show. Please leave.
Yep.
You homophobic bearded meat goblin.
I just want enough to warm it up some. I don't want to set it on fire. It's very easy to set it on fire.
Well, today on This Old House, we're at the city zoning office because they think our new porch is 2 inches too close to the sidewalk, which is f***ing bullshit because their sidewalk is too far away from the street, which they'd know about if they'd read any of the emails I'd sent them over the past 18 months. So join us as we waste our whole f***ing day on this shit.
The premiere of Thomas the High-Speed Rail has been delayed again. And at the 10 Bitcoin level, you receive a handsome tote bag.
Quack! Good one!
Quiet.
Very good!
Queen.
What else starts with the letter Q?
Space lasers.
Oh.
John Podesta and Hillary Clinton had an email exchange about hot dogs.
Where do we get these puppets?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and you have a right to defend your house with firearms. With firearms.
I mean, it's bad enough that they did that one, but the fact that they also did James Bond, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Star Trek, and I watched them all.
I just don't understand. So the ideal viewer of this is somebody who is a hardcore enough Reason fan that sort of vague references to all of their issues are going to be enough to make them laugh, right? You know, like that's all it takes. You know, that they just have to like check off some issue and like imply something about their position on it, and you know, be like, "Ha, that's right, we do think that about building codes," but like also watches PBS all the time and knows what all the shows they're referring to are. Because I've got to say there were like several in there. I was like, wait a second, what are they even referring to there? I guess I don't watch enough PBS for this.
You know, sometimes it. Sorry, I was saying sometimes this kind of makes me happy that maybe that Jacobin doesn't have the budget that Reason evidently has, because they seem to have too much money lying around. Maybe it's good that it's more just like Zoom conversations between two 85-year-old professors as opposed to whatever the fuck this is. But yeah, I don't know.
And Kale. Don't forget Kale.
Yeah, he brings the average age down to 79.
It's like, I don't know. I mean, as someone who's deeply fond of PBS and of Sesame Street in particular, because Sesame Street is, if you dig into like how much academic research goes into Sesame Street, it's sort of insane. Like, it's probably like one of the most well-researched shows on television, because they've just like piles and piles of people of like cutting edge like child psychology, being like, okay, how can we best like make a show that's going to hold kids' attention and teach them things, and you know, and then I don't know. The thing is that like they're doing the Reason. This is like Reason magazine shtick, right? Is that they're like they try to focus as best they can on like the stuff that libertarians are kind of right about,
right?
Yes, you absolutely should be able to do all these drugs, and of course cops should never have qualified immunity. That's insane. Or they should have very limited qualified immunity. I don't know, whatever. Or there shouldn't be cops. But and then a couple of things creep in that like where you like immediately detect the presence of something dark and unspeakable. I'm speaking like mostly about like the guy out on a boat in international waters, because you absolutely do not want to know what the libertarians are doing in international waters. I mean, look, we all know it. Scratch deep, talk to them long enough, and somebody's talking about the age of consent. It does not fail.
No, yeah, that's right.
Slavery. I mean, it always comes down to age of consent or slavery with libertarians.
Yeah, no. I mean, like the second after he lit up that joint, in international waters, like he was like, "All right, so when are we going to release the prisoners so we can start playing the most dangerous game?" Like that's that was the next, that was the next step for sure.
Part of the dinosaur being like, we all own our own bodies, and I'm like, yeah, for now.
Unless, of course, you need to sell your body. That's fine too. That they like if we all own our own bodies, and if we need to raise a little extra cash, that they. Like I'm happy to pay Bitcoin for your organs. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, so yeah, I did notice that too, that in the early parts they were emphasizing like all the least evil parts of libertarianism, about the cops and the drugs and, and all of that stuff. But it was also just weird because it was such random sort of subjects. It was like they just had to like just sort of check like every big position that they held. And it was just like, okay, so was the point of this to make fun of PBS? Is the point to make fun of themselves? Is the point to make fun of,
like government regulations, whatever, because they sort of seem to be gesturing a little bit at all of those, but they couldn't really pick one and stick with it, which is like really more than anything why, like, I noticed, Jake, you like, I noticed you checking the time, like, see how much was left at some point, and like, I've been feeling that way for like 2 minutes by the time you did that. It's like, oh my god, how much longer is this going to go on? Because it just doesn't like. Normally, even if I'm watching like horrifying reactionary content, I'm like kind of immersed in it, but like this just doesn't immerse you at all, because it's like they just can't stick with a gimmick for long enough, for you to settle into it.
I think that's partly why the Star Trek and the James Bond one actually has like one good running joke where they keep cutting to Bond and he's like, "I'd like milk unpasteurized. I'd like, and like all these things that libertarians like are always demanding." But then it gets like weirder and weirder and harder drugs. And it's always like, I want milk unpasteurized, shaken, not stirred. And it's all, I'd like some 2 speedballs, shaken, not stirred. And then finally just like, "I'd like a baby." And the guy hands him over a baby. It's like, "Don't shake it, please." Like, that was kind of funny because they set up the joke. But
yeah,
that's as funny as it got.
That's part of the thing too, right? You notice there are no callbacks in that entire video, right? Everything is a new joke. Like every 10 seconds, it's a new joke. There's no attempt to connect any of it into like any kind of like narrative that like might, again, make you settle into it a little.
How like I get into this SNL apologia, I don't know however you say that word, but like what percentage of that audience do you think it's like, SNL sucks now, total lib shit, like it's so unfunny? It's like so many people who say that just don't have a leg to stand on from a comedy perspective. You know what I mean? Like, this is so much worse than almost, well, okay, not everything that's been on SNL, but like a majority. You know what I mean? Like, this was just really poor comedy writing. And yeah, as it's not nearly as good as some of the shit you got.
No, honestly, PragerU has like way better comic sensibilities than whoever put together this video.
A bunch of these.
There's more comedic talent in the pinky toe of the person who came up with the Ghost Stalin bit than than that entire video, I feel like.
Oh, I think that's right. I mean, again, like there at least there's a recurrent joke. I mean, it's not much, but it's something you can hang on to while you're watching it. It's not just like, hey, here's a jokey reference, although it's not even totally clear what the joke is supposed to be, to like one policy we don't like, and here's a jokey reference to something else that has something to do with the libertarianism in some way.
It's very, what it is? It's very much, remember when there was those string of parody movies that got that just became like superhero movie and vampire movie, and it literally just became references to the thing itself. They were very popular.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I think this arises out of the fact that fundamentally libertarianism is nerd shit. Like it is like got your head dunked in a toilet nerd shit, and like. And there is absolutely a style of like internet nerd quote unquote comedy that consists in nothing but like a series of references, and like I remember this was extremely popular when I was an undergrad, and I had to occasionally leave rooms because it was getting so bad.
Yeah. No, I think the reference to the superhero movie, epic movie, all that stuff, Jake, I think that's exactly on point. Like this, and that drove me crazy at the time, right? Because like the scary movie, right? That was the first, I think
which I think the first one was actually pretty good.
That was much better than what came after.
Yeah.
It was better than what came after. I think that's about what you can give it. But they have but like even that one, I remember just thinking it's like, okay, especially because, it's funny too because Scream was not.
Scream's already a parody. Yeah.
Exactly, it's already a parody, right? And like that was a parody of a horror movie, like that of like a bunch of horror movies, right? And then Scary Movie was to a great extent this sort of weird parody of Scream, but like it wasn't even a parody. And what it was like, and like the more of those movies went on, the more they were like this. They would just like what the blank movie thought parodying a movie was is like you just recreate a scene from a movie and then like put a fart joke on it or something.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is comedy when you take out all of the left-wing Jews and just leave like wasps with like hard chins. Like, come on.
Or Ben
like,
Shapiro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, not all. I'm not saying all. Well, yeah, the left-wing Jews. You know, I can't. I wasn't on the right-wing Jews to be funny. But I mean, like, just that. You know, he's just like, ugh. Yeah.
It's the Harvard Lampoon before they let Jews into Harvard.
That's what I was trying to describe, basically.
You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive postgames on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.